reasons why Israel felt confident in striking out against Iran at this time is that they had convinced themselves that they had taken Hezbollah off the. I think there was always an understanding from the Israelis that Hezbollah was a loaded pistol to Israel's head, and that if you went after Iran, boom, the pistol goes off. And so they pagered the mid level of Hezbollah management, blew off a lot of hands, blinded people. They killed Hassan Nasrallah, and they worked with the United States to get the Lebanese government to tone down Hezbollah. They got rid of Syria, which made the lifeline between Hezbollah and Iran problematic. So Hezbollah went into a quiet mode, like a sleep mode. But don't be lulled. I mean, it's like me looking at this computer. I'm giving a horrible analogy, but I'm making it up as I go along, so it may work in the end. But I've got this computer screen. This screen doesn't do it. I mean, it's a screen. I look at it and I move around my mouse and I think it's the computer, but it's not. It's just a screen. The computer's right here next to it. It does all the thinking. And what happened here is we got everybody to put the screen into sleep mode. There you go. There, we solved the Hezbollah problem. Look at the screen. Blank. Nothing there. No mouse moving on. No cursor. Can't click anything. But the computer's right here. And if you shake the computer, the screen comes back on. Israel believed that they had suppressed Hezbollah, that Hezbollah was weakened, that they could use the Lebanese government and the Lebanese army as a way of containing Hezbollah. I mean, look at what happened when the Lebanese government, the prime minister and the president told the Lebanese army to disarm Hezbollah. What was the response of the Lebanese army? Hell no. We ain't touching that. Because they know the truth. That the screen may be off, but the computer still works. And the computer, when it turns on with a vengeance. And Hezbollah would wipe the Lebanese army off the face of the earth. The Lebanese army is incapable of any meaningful fighting because they're not trained for it. They all look good in their uniforms. I'm sure they do a lot of push-ups because they got some, when they roll up those sleeves, they got some impressive biceps and, they got that little chest torso thing going, tapers down. The Lebanese soldiers look really good in uniform. They really do. They're handsome dudes. Get those berets and haircut. Hezbollah will kill all of them because Hezbollah are damn good fighters and they're still there. Hezbollah, had to do some certain, what's the word I'm looking for when you do cosmetic? There you go, cosmetic alterations, withdraw a little bit from the south. But all the tunnels are still there. Israel blew up a couple missile depots and they took over a missile production facility in Syria and blew it up. And wow, the Israelis are really good. But Hezbollah's not stupid. Again, Hezbollah is like Iran. They don't put all their eggs in one basket. And they have significant resources that have been saved. Israel fooled themselves into believing that Hezbollah was off the map. And now Hezbollah is back. And Iran has eliminated the bulk of Israel's ability to defend itself. And so now Hezbollah is blowing up Haifa. Hezbollah is blowing up Tel Aviv. Hezbollah is blowing up Tel Aviv. That's an amazing thing. And now the Israelis are going to send in 500,000 soldiers into southern Lebanon. I just want people to think about this for a second because maybe you're not familiar with the military. One of the things that we always did in the military before we would do anything, training, war, you do what's called the intelligence preparation of the battlefield, IPB. And one thing you do is you just look at the terrain and see what the terrain tells you because the terrain's going to tell you a couple things, where you can go and where you can't go. And so we do overlays of go, no go. And suddenly you constrict yourselves to very limited corridors. Now, but you have to also look at what terrain features can dominate these corridors because as you have the corridors going in, who controls this terrain here can stop the corridor, not just blocking it here, but up here. So the battle starts defining itself. You can tell right off the bat what key terrain is, what the key lines of communication are, and already you can shape the battle, what we're going to need, what the enemy's going to have to do, and all this kind of stuff. If you try and squeeze 500,000 Israeli troops into the battlefield that is southern Lebanon, you're just going to get backed up tanks. Or you're going to get guys on a hillside just providing more targets. A hillside should probably only take a platoon spread out as they sweep it. That way, if the Hezbollah opens up on fire, they can take out a fire team. The rest of the guys can suppress, bring in artillery, reinforce with another platoon, move in. But if you come in and put a company online, you're going to lose the company on the first thing. All you're doing is creating more targets, more tanks, more concentration of troops. Where are these 500,000 troops going to go as they get caught up in a traffic jam? Because that's what's going to happen. They're going to start snaking their way up to some unnamed southern Lebanese hilltop village, and they're going to go in there, and Hezbollah's going to jump up, and bam, hit them. And now they're in a firefight. They got wounded Israelis. You got to get them out, but you can't get them out because you got a traffic jam going on. The traffic jam's going to get hit, rockets, burning tanks, and everything. They're stuck, and all those troops are going to be in concentration areas. And Hezbollah's got rockets. They're going to hit the concentration areas and kill these guys. Please, Israel, don't make it 500,000. Make it 1 million. Mobilize every man. Put them all in uniform and send them to Lebanon so they can all die because that's what's going to happen. Hezbollah's going to kick their ass. Hezbollah's in an existential struggle right now. Hezbollah before never really did the fight to the finish mode because they were also linked to the Lebanese government. The Lebanese government's proven itself to be nothing more than a Mossad front. The president and the prime minister work for Mossad. I'll say it again. The president of Lebanon and the prime minister work for Mossad. Now, it could be directly or indirectly, meaning maybe Tom Barak, the American ambassador, is to Turkey, who is now the Lebanese special envoy. He's a front for them. But the bottom line is they don't work for the Lebanese people. Because if they did work for the Lebanese people, they'd have declared war on Israel already for all the bombing that took place in Beirut and elsewhere. No, they work for Mossad. And so now Hezbollah now knows what has to be done. They have to defeat Israel, and they have to defeat the Mossad government in Beirut. And they will, because this is a life and death struggle for people who, as we've talked about, embrace martyrdom, not suicidally, but they're not afraid. All the other people, all those little Israeli boys out there that are getting ready to go into Lebanon, they're scared. They're scared little boys. You see, they're mama's boys. They're the new generation of Israelis. They grew up with mama, and they're so nice, and they know IT. They're very good. They want to create. Their big thing in life isn't to work on a kibbutz under the sun and get sweaty and hot and muscles. They want to sit in an air-conditioned office and do an IT startup. That's all they want to do. I want to do an IT startup, because what that means is you do nothing, get all the money, because that's what the Israelis are today. They don't work. They're lazy. And so all these little mama boys now are going to be moving towards Lebanon. But when they take off their helmet, there's going to be little Mishva or whatever the fuck their girl's friend name is. And they're going to be looking at it and go, oh, mama and my girlfriend. Oh, I missed them. They're thinking the wrong thing. Hezbollah, meanwhile, is down there, pooping in a bag, burying it, pissing in a cup, burying it, because they're ready. They're not moving. And here they come, and Hezbollah's going to close one and kill them. Hezbollah is sit there and go, oh, no, Fatima. Forget Fatima. Hezbollah's in the business of killing Israelis, and business is good right now. And the Israelis are going to come in, these little mama boys, and are going up against real men who are in killing mode because they have no choice. Israel and the United States have made this existential. If they defeat Iran, that's the end of Hezbollah. So Hezbollah is fighting literally for their existence. And the Israelis don't know what they're fighting for. They just know that when they go into Lebanon, they get chewed up, and they start to hesitate. And when you hesitate in combat, you're dead. Mobilize every Israeli and send them to Lebanon. And then we won't have to worry about Israel anymore. Hezbollah is doing God's work right now because they are excising the cancer. Hezbollah wasn't defeated. Everybody's, they're defeated. They went dormant. Their screen went into silent mode, went black. But the computer's still there with a hard drive and a CPU and all that kind of stuff. And now they've shook it. The screen's up and running, and the computer's working like a champ. And the Israelis are just getting slaughtered. They're not very good. They have some special forces guys that are good, but what the Israelis are really good at is flying airplanes and dropping bombs and blowing things up. But as Iran showed, you got to blow things up of significance. In Beirut, what's happened is they've run out of significant things to blow up, so now they're back to the Dahwa Doctrine, holding the population collectively accountable. It's war criminal stuff. Of course, that's what the United States is doing. Pete Hegseth hasn't quite formally announced it that way, but we're in the mode right now of killing Iranian civilians. We are literally shifting over to civilian targets because our goal now is to punish the Iranian people for not rising up and taking down the regime. War criminal activity. So the United States and Israel have self-defined as the worst possible nations in the world today. We're the leading war practitioners of war crimes in the world today. And Hezbollah is doing God's work. And I know as an American, I'm not supposed to say this, but since Hezbollah is not formally at war with the United States, I feel comfortable. I want Hezbollah to defeat Israel. I want them to defeat Israel in the most comprehensive way possible so that Israel is lethally damaged. And I want Iran to help them. I want Israel gone. Israel got us in this war. The American people understand that this is not an American war. Donald Trump sold us out for Israel. Pete Hegseth sold us out for Israel. Marco Rubio sold us out for Israel. Everybody in the White House, everybody associated with the Trump administration sold America down the road on behalf of Israel. Ted Cruz did that. Mike Huckabee did that. Every one of them. And we need to know that. We need to know that when we pay the higher gas prices, it's because of Israel. Everything is because of Israel. This isn't anti-Semitic. I'm not saying it's because of the Jews. I'm saying it's because of Israel. The Zionist entity called Israel, this parasitic entity that's attached itself to the United States and is sucking the lifeblood out of the United States and the world. Israel. Israel needs to be erased. And hopefully Iran has the eraser to do it. I know Hezbollah does.